I, 37 female, have one daughter, pre-tween, Jenny, from my ex-boyfriend, 36 male. My ex-boyfriend was a man-child whom I stuck with for 3 years because I was convinced he would magically grow up someday as long as I helped him. I'll be honest, I definitely had terrible taste in men when I was younger. I became pregnant, and 2 months after giving birth, he walked out. He claimed he couldn't take the stress of fatherhood. He didn't want any custody and now pays child support, surprisingly, without complaint. My sister, 41, has been my biggest supporter. She has a wonderful husband she's dated since high school, and they have 4 kids. Something pretty common was when we were in our teens and 20s, I'd date jerks. Then I'd run to her whenever they did something stupid or hurtful. Of course, she told me to break up with them, but my stupid younger self always ran back. She got pretty frustrated, but would still comfort me. Believe me, I'm not proud, and have certainly matured since my daughter was born. A couple of times she would introduce me to some very nice guys. I even went on a couple of dates, but for some reason, I only felt attracted to rude idiots with crappy haircuts. Please don't ask what was going through my head. I literally have no idea. I still feel embarrassed thinking about it. My sis and her husband got married pretty young, so they couldn't afford a nice honeymoon. They've been saving for years and finally booked a 2-week stay at some tropical resort. She's very happy. One of her kids is in an out-of-state college, so she wanted to avoid asking him to watch his siblings along with attending school. Plus, they aren't exactly rich and can't afford a long-term nanny or whatever. I agreed to watch the other kids. They're not toddlers or brats. They're well-behaved, so it's no big deal to me. I was happy to do it. After my daughter was born, I went on 1 or 2 dates, but nothing serious. Recently, I met this really nice guy at work. It was my sister who introduced him to me. We all work in the same huge office building, just different departments. We had some shared hobbies and started talking during our breaks. We spent at most 10 minutes together at a time. He finally asked me on a date. Strangely enough, after about 30 minutes, I couldn't stop sneezing. At first, I just thought it was allergy season. We went out several times after that, and the same thing happened. Once I accidentally took his jacket home. My daughter got sick too. I feel pretty stupid for not asking earlier, but he finally mentioned how he has 4 cats who he loves. Both me and my daughter are severely allergic to cats. Wearing fresh clothes only helped a little. Finally, after a month, I broke up with him. He offered that we could try a few different things, like prescription allergy pills or something. I apologized and said it would be better if we both went our own way. I feel awful, but the experience taught me that even though I enjoyed our time together, I wasn't so invested in this relationship that I'd go through the trouble of researching different remedies or putting my daughter in danger. I felt it best to break it off soon, before we got too serious. He seemed sad, but he understood. We parted on good terms. My sister seemed a bit miffed and didn't say much. Only a couple of days ago, I heard her going on and on about me. I got off work early that day, which she knew. I realized I had forgotten something and came back. While at it, I walked around my sister's department to pick up another file and say hello. The door to the break room was open, and I could hear a small group of women talking. My sis was saying how ridiculous it was that I keep rejecting good men for stupid reasons. The fact that my daughter has no father is my fault, and I should be embarrassed. She made some joke about me being an attention seeker who spreads my legs for any man I know won't respect me. I haven't done anything like that in years. I was shocked and extremely hurt. I stormed out and texted her that I would no longer babysit her kids for the vacation. She got desperate and kept apologizing and begging to talk. I've just been ignoring her. My mom said what she said was wrong, but it's not fair to ruin her second honeymoon. She's been waiting for so long. Mom is very old and currently has lung cancer, so she's in no state to babysit anyone's kids. Some of my friends mentioned that my sister did deal with my idiot exes for a long and frustrating amount of time. I should cut her some slack. She's helped me in the past. The honeymoon starts only the day after tomorrow, and I've heard she still can't find a good babysitter she could afford. I'm starting to feel bad because she seems so desperate and sad. Am I the idiot? Edit. To clarify, we do work in the same company. Your sister's saying this to people in your workplace? You are not the idiot. She wasn't letting off steam with her friends or family who might understand the background and not take it all at face value. She was bad-mouthing you at work to people you must see and interact with daily, people who don't know your private life and haven't seen you grow up. This has the serious possibility of messing with your career and income. This could open you up to workplace harassment. This reputational damage could hurt your prospects in this company. Exactly. A lot of people don't realize the gravity of the situation. This isn't just workplace gossip. This coworker is a close family member who openly talks about intimate details and past bad decisions. This could give OP a bad reputation that could create a hostile work environment and cause bias, which may stunt their career development. Plus, the vulgar language used. Knowing people at work will be looking at OP, picturing her having intimacy. Sorry, no babysitter for you. Tell mom exactly what language sister said. See how sympathetic she is to her then. It seems like the sister was only desperate to apologize to you because she needed a babysitter. Like, if she didn't have this honeymoon planned and needed someone to watch her kids, would she have apologized so quickly? Or would she have doubled down? Exactly. I'm getting the vibe they're gossip mongers, and the sister's saying what she did for clout with their catty friends. If she was my sister, I'd be going no contact, at least for a long while. Horrible her sister did that. Sounds like she's used to the abusive treatment from men because her sister and parents do it to her. I hope she at least gets an apology from her. And OP won't be ruining her sister's honeymoon by not babysitting. Her sister's ruining it by being an attention seeker who opens their mouth to anyone. Update. Am I the idiot for ruining my sister's honeymoon over what she did? I haven't gone back to my old dating habits for years now. I've had a good professional therapist for 6 years, and she's really helped me work through the issues that caused me to act like that. About a year into therapy, I sat down with my sister and apologized for constantly dumping my issues onto her, and then proceeding not to follow her advice. We even had a therapy session together where she said she forgave me. I thought it brought us a lot closer. I asked her about it a few times during the next few years, and she just said she had moved on and was fine. I'm not angry about her feelings. She's entitled to her emotions. I just wish she had discussed it with me or tried to explain how she felt. I love her and would have been happy to have a heart-to-heart. I'm just very hurt that she'd gossip and insult me to our coworkers, most of whom don't even know me personally that well. Plus, the way she put it made it sound like I was still doing that crap when she knows darn well that that was years ago. I know I'm not perfect, but that crossed the line. I regret lashing out the way I did now that I've cooled down. However, I'm still furious at her. At the end of the day, she's still my sister, no matter how hurt I feel, and I want to work through this and at least try to stay in each other's lives. I've decided to babysit the kids. My brother-in-law and her have planned this trip for years, so they've earned it. I love my niece and nephews, and I planned a few fun activities for us that I don't want to miss. It's for them, not her. It's good she'll be gone for the next couple of weeks soon. I'll have time to get all my thoughts in order and figure out how to express what I want to say. Oh boy, what she did is unforgivable. You work with these people. What the heck? I mean, would she really want the slut she described, looking after her kids? I'm so mad that you're still babysitting. Not only would I have rescinded the offer, but I also would have reported her to HR for harassment. She's not sorry for what she said. She's sorry she got caught. OP, wake up. She was talking crap at your mutual workplace. She's downplaying your and your daughter's actual medical condition. I have severe cat allergies, and treatment isn't cheap. So instead of sacrificing your discomfort and putting him in a position where his cats, whom he loves, might be a problem. She isn't acknowledging your growth. You even sat down with her to apologize, and she's still acting like this? She's a TA. Honey, your family's expectations that you'd continue taking care of someone who abused you might be part of why you kept running back to all those losers. My father has never really held a job and has lived off the child support income my mom gives him, which is around $70K a year, even though I'm only at his house over the weekends. He's remarried and has 2 kids who live with him. So recently, I've heard my mom complaining about how she's subsidizing my father's kids and wife with her child support payments. I was already getting annoyed with having to go to his home every weekend because their living accommodations are significantly worse. And I hated having to drive 45 minutes and not be able to hang out with my friends over the weekend because it was either too far away or because my father's home is a tiny 2-bedroom apartment. I also don't get along well with his new wife. So I asked my mom if it was possible to get the custody agreement changed if she didn't want to be paying child support anymore, and I didn't want to be going there every weekend if there was something that could be done. So like a bunch of legal things later, I got to tell a judge that I didn't want to live with my dad on the weekends because the living conditions were significantly worse and I didn't get along with his new family. So I don't know the exact details, but I only see him once a month now, which is fine because he was never really home when I had weekends with him. The child support was also cut down significantly. I don't know the exact number, but my mom bought me a new car. I ruined my old one because a guy was speeding through a yield sign and hit the side of it and bent the frame with the extra cash he was saving, so pretty cool. However, my dad is super mad at me because he's currently at risk of being homeless because he can't afford to take care of the 2 kids and pay rent without child support. And he apparently can only get a minimum wage job because he was out of the job market for so long and we live in an HCL area. So, am I the idiot? The only idiot here is the father. Not only did he not provide for you, he leached off using your child support money. He's being a loser, not making enough money, and going homeless is entirely his fault. Sure, his current wife and kids may suffer for a short while due to his incompetence, but either he or his current wife will figure something out. Don't beat yourself down for suggesting changing the custody agreement, reducing child support, putting your so-called dad out of money. You did the right thing. That's what's best for you, and it was wise and mature. He had weekend custody and couldn't even manage to be present, and he didn't have the excuse of working to not be there for you. Wow, your dad thought he had a life on Easy Street. Maybe his lazy butt should have been working instead of coasting. My guess is he'll be single again soon. Yep, your dad isn't mad that he doesn't see you. He's mad the money stopped flowing. If nothing else, you're old enough for your opinion to be taken into account. You can't be that far off aging out and him being cut off anyway. If he didn't have a plan for this, that's on him. You did what was best for you, which benefited your mom. Your dad should be wondering why one of his kids hates spending time at his place so much, not blaming you for him and his wife failing to provide for their own kids. My husband, 41, and I, female 34, have been together for 7 years. Recently, my husband's parents got approved for a visa to come to the U.S. They waited a very long time for this visa to get approved and were afraid it would get denied. I have no problem with them visiting. I was happy to hear they got the visa. When it came time to buy the plane tickets, I told my husband that I felt that coming for a month was a reasonable amount of time. My husband got really angry and yelled at me that his parents could come for as long as they wanted to. Of course, I got upset at his reaction because I felt he was being selfish and not considering me as someone who also lived in the household. I work from home, and we live in a tiny apartment, 880 square feet. Them coming for so long would complicate things for me and put me in an uncomfortable position, especially because I don't speak their language. Due to his parents' mistake and his vacation time, my husband decided that they would stay for almost 3 months. I was not happy with this decision, but tried to understand him. It's his parents, and there is a chance that they may not be able to come back. I was really trying to be understanding. To make things more complicated, another family member also got a visa approved, and his parents decided that they wanted to come and visit at the same time. I told my husband my okay, but told him that the space was small and suggested they stay for 2 weeks. He still did not consider my feelings or the situation, and now the other family member is staying for 1 month. I was frustrated at the idea that a third person was coming for so long, and he didn't consider my feelings when making this decision. So to make things easier for them and for me, I decided to go to my parents' home for a few weeks. Things were okay during this time. I decided to return to the apartment to meet his family member and spend time with them. My husband has mentioned that he wants to take his family to a different state for vacation. We talked, and I understood he would buy weekday tickets to make things easier for me. Yesterday, I found out that he bought tickets to go over the weekend, and he didn't even ask me if I wanted to join or if I was okay with that. Nothing. It made me feel very sad and upset that he didn't even consider me when making these decisions, especially because he bought the tickets days ago and didn't even feel like I should know. I was very upset. I felt like I wanted to cry, so I went to my room. My husband got upset at my reaction and left the house with his family. After a few hours, they returned, and I asked him to talk. I told him his actions made me feel betrayed, left out, and unloved. He got super angry and started yelling at me. His family was in the room next door and could hear his yelling. I was trying to express my emotions respectfully, but that seemed to trigger him even more. His argument is that my behavior ruined his parents' trip, and now they feel uncomfortable, and that the only thing they've done is to be nice to me, which I agree with. They're lovely people and have treated me nicely. I don't feel he understands my feelings. I feel he's made these unilateral decisions. He puts his family's needs first and above mine, and I feel I reached a breaking point. I do understand his desire to please his family and make them happy, but I feel after the fight we had last night, things are awkward and weird among everyone, and his family's obviously on his side. So I feel extremely uncomfortable in my own house. I don't know what to do. Am I the idiot for reacting the way I did? Should I go back to my parents' house? Not the idiot. 5 people in 880 square feet? Is he crazy? Go back to your parents. Just leave. Don't call or ask what they're doing or where they're going. Basically ghost him and see how long it takes him to realize you've left. Every single time you open your mouth, he flips out. Why would you stay with him? He's very selfish and only cares about himself. Go back to your parents' house permanently and ditch this guy. I bet anything he yelled because he wanted them to hear. He wants them to think he's in charge. He's being disrespectful. I also don't like to jump on the just leave bandwagon, but I would just leave. This behavior didn't just occur out of the blue. These traits have been there all this time. 7 years and she never knew this guy? Sis, be honest. Your marriage was a crap show long before the in-laws arrived. This man doesn't care about you, your feelings, or your opinions. He's shown you who he is. Believe him. Stop trying to kiss his butt. There is no way you should tolerate him talking to you this way. Heck no. You teach people how to treat you. He's dismissive, disrespectful, and disregarding you. Pack your bags. Take your butt back to your parents. Go no contact and let his toxic butt deal with his family. Hang out with your family and friends and enjoy yourself. Do things that put a smile on your face. When he grows up and is ready, hubby can contact you. Take care, sis. You deserve nothing but peace and happiness.